Welcome to the Family Beacon podcast from Minnesota Family Council with hosts Grace Evans and Moses Brattrud. Stay informed on the top stories on life, family, and religious freedom. Get the facts, stand for truth. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to episode 2 of the Family Beacon podcast. I'm Grace Evans. I'm here with Moses Brattrud. And first of all, thank you so much for tuning in to yet another episode. We were so blessed by the feedback we got over the last week. We had hundreds of people listening to our podcast
wow.
Yeah, that's amazing.
On the first week. Honestly, it went way better than I expected.
Yeah, so we've had hundreds of plays, whether that's on Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and by the way, you can find us on all of those platforms, as well as YouTube. This is also a videoed production, so if you want to check it out and see our beautiful faces, head over to our YouTube page. It's just Minnesota Family Council, easy to find.
The video is also on Facebook.
Yep. We're on Facebook. We're also on Instagram, so follow us at MN Family Council, Twitter, Instagram, and at MN Family Council on Facebook too. Something I just want to briefly say is that it really would mean a lot if you like this podcast, if you would go ahead and make sure you share this with your friends. One, word of mouth is so important for podcasters, so if you can share it with your friends just through word of mouth, that's great. Or if you like what you're seeing, put it on your Facebook story, put it on your Instagram story. Tell people about your new favorite podcast. We've had a few people tell us that this is their new favorite podcast, and we're really excited about that. So hopefully God continues to bless that. And just on one other side note, we will be coming soon to Apple Podcasts. We know that hasn't been approved yet. Apple Podcasts has this thing where we have to go through a transition period where our first podcast gets approved and then every other podcast should be up whenever we launch it on Anchor. So that shouldn't be a problem in the future. We're still waiting to get approval, but stay tuned for that soon. And when we do get approved on Apple Podcasts, it would be great if people could write reviews. We'll talk about that more in the next episode. But for now, thanks for watching. We're really grateful for you guys.
Absolutely. So this is a jam-packed week.
Crazy
so
stuff.
Much has happened. Like, oftentimes in the summer here at Minnesota Family Council, the legislative session is over, usually by middle of June, or earlier even some years, and so during the summer we have all sorts of things that we keep busy with, our lead summer camp, traveling to conferences, working with our allies in the legal arena, all sorts of things that we're always busy.
Yeah.
But this summer has been, I would say, busier than normal.
Definitely.
And even just the last week, we had an executive order from the governor that has shaken things up a bit.
Yeah.
So
Moses has done some activist work this week on many different fronts, but why don't you tell us about that one specifically, Moses?
Yeah. Actually, let me give you a little teaser of what's coming this episode. We're going to talk about the governor's executive order on conversion therapy. We're going to be talking about me calling an abortion clinic and how that went. I will let you know.
Yeah.
And finally, we're going to be talking about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. I know you always love hearing about them.
Receiving an award for limiting their family size.
Receiving an award.
We'll be talking about that.
Yeah,
so stay tuned.
I think we can all agree that they deserve the "Stay Away from Me" medal.
Wow. Okay.
I actually do give that out.
So, Moses, what I really want to talk about, though, is what's happening with the so-called conversion therapy governor's ban by executive order.
Yeah,
I really want to hear what went down this week. I know you did some activist work, and just lay it on me. Tell me the details.
So Governor Walz, the governor of Minnesota, he overrode the legislature last week, and he issued an executive order that attempts to ban so-called conversion therapy. For those of you who aren't familiar with that topic, what that means is the idea that a young person who's experiencing unwanted same-sex attraction or unwanted gender dysphoria would be able to go to a licensed counselor and receive care that would help them meet their goals of no longer experiencing unwanted same-sex attraction or gender dysphoria. So that is something that some people call conversion therapy. There are various names for it. And the governor believes that is a practice that the word torture gets thrown around. And so he took the opportunity last week, right before the Twin Cities Pride Parade, and that is not a coincidence. That timing there, he took the opportunity to quote unquote ban conversion therapy, so called, by executive order. Now, this doesn't really ban conversion therapy because the legislature would need to do that.
Right.
And furthermore, the things that most people think of when they think of conversion therapy, and this has been the subject of several Hollywood movies, and just like the, oh my gosh, it's this torturous thing, that is not something that is practiced in Minnesota. Like, we're talking, if there's any type of like barbaric thing that you have heard of that is associated with quote unquote conversion therapy, that's not actually being done anymore. Certainly not in Minnesota. Because if you're a mental health professional, you are rigorously policed by the professional bodies. If you're a psychiatrist, by the Psychiatrist Association. If you are a different type of mental health counselor, ditto. And so the idea that there are people in Minnesota who are like torturing kids, and it's just not happening. In fact, throughout the years of this whole conversion therapy debate, and I think this is crazy, I have actually never heard someone from the other side say, I experienced conversion therapy in Minnesota. There'll be people who have experienced things that they regretted, but it's always been in other states. And I think that's really telling. So essentially, the point is that the governor did this. The governor did this not because there are actual kids suffering here, but because Pride Parade was coming up. So this is a cynical
virtue signaling.
It's virtue signaling. Yeah. It's executive overreach, and it's a really bad thing. Like, this is a tough topic. Like, I don't want to step over that, because if you are a young person and you are hurting. Mm-hmm. First of all, you should absolutely be able to get the counseling and care that you need to help you meet your goals, mm-hmm. including if those goals are getting rid of unwanted same-sex attraction or gender dysphoria.
What happens to like my body, my choice, that argument? You know, you can. What happens to that if you think what's best for you is to go get counseling because of feelings that to you are unwanted? You should be able to have access to that. And I don't know, Moses, maybe you can walk us through like some logistics about conversion therapy here in Minnesota, so-called conversion therapy.
I don't have logistics for you because I don't know anyone who does this. And I don't know. Like, I've talked to Christian counselors who are not licensed mental health care professionals, but who will prayerfully help someone who comes in to see them, as any good pastor would, and who wants to be free of any type of sexual sin. And that's important. We're talking about the gospel here. The gospel offers freedom to those who are dealing with sexual sin and any type of sin. And pastors help you come to a place where you are free of that through Christ, through the power of the Holy Spirit. It's important to say that is, if that was threatened in any way, then we would be up in arms. This current executive order, it's pretty toothless. Just being real with you. Like, is it going to affect the situation on the ground? Is it going to affect the ability of pastors? No. It won't.
But it's telling of where our culture is going.
It's absolutely telling where our culture is going, and it could be the prelude to attacks on religious freedom, attacks on pastors. We've absolutely seen that in other states. Yeah. So this is our job at Minnesota Family Council. We want to be vigilant about these things. Be vigilant so that your rights as Minnesotans, the rights of pastors, the rights of young people seeking counseling are protected.
Yeah, absolutely. The Bible tells us we need to not be asleep. We need to be awake. We need to be vigilant and contend for the faith. So that's a really good reminder there, Moses. Something else that happened this week that you are also involved in with activism.
Yeah.
Well, Whole Woman's Health apparently botches their abortion numbers. That was the headline here in the MFC office this week. Yeah. We're talking a lot about that. Can you tell us what you did? What more about the story? So
Whole Woman's Health is this chain of abortion clinics, and it's like Planned Parenthood, but worse. So they're Planned Parenthood. They love to talk about. I actually saw one of their buses in my neighborhood a couple weeks ago, and it was like this big city bus, and it's covered in pink, and it says, Planned Parenthood, we offer compassionate sexual health care for everyone.
You know, those pap tests and mammograms, that's really the majority of what they do.
Actually, right. They basically don't do that. They do birth control. They do sex education, which we wish they wouldn't, because it's really bad. We'll get into that some week.
Yeah, we will. Little kids don't need to be taught.
No, they don't. We don't even need to talk about what they don't need to be taught.
Otherwise, we'd have to have a content warning.
Yeah, exactly. It's real bad. So we'll talk about
bad
that.
Stuff.
But what Whole Women's Health does is like Planned Parenthood, but without the nice exterior. Obviously, as pro-life people, we don't see Planned Parenthood as having a nice, fluffy, friendly exterior. We see them as an abortion provider, which is primarily what they do. Whole Women's Health doesn't do anything else, to my knowledge. Although, actually, a pro-life counselor did say to me this week that that more people are going into Whole Women's Health for birth control. So, just laying that out there. Because we want to be
advocates for doing your own research.
Yeah.
Don't just take any podcaster's word for things. Do your own research. Look at the facts. Stand for truth.
Absolutely.
That's what this podcast is about. It's not about us giving you these words and you regurgitating these words. It's giving you an update on the news for this week, and then you go and you look up things for yourself and do your own research. That's really our goal here.
What a great way to work into it. What a great way to work our slogan into the program.
And that was completely impromptu. By the way, none of this is scripted either. This is just us.
This is not a scripted podcast.
Yeah.
Maybe you could tell.
Let's hope not.
So, Whole Women's Health. They used to be in downtown Minneapolis. Now they're in Bloomington, their Minnesota branch. They're one of the biggest abortion providers in Minnesota. However, the state has an abortion report that they release every year around June, July. And they released it this year for 2020. And there are penalties if abortion providers do not submit their reports, or if their reports aren't accurate. So we look at the abortion report. By the way, that's going to be available on our website, www.mfc.org/TFB, and we'll have the abortion report up there.
And it'll be up on the screen too.
And it'll be up on the screen if you're watching. Exactly. Yeah. So the abortion report, and I'm looking at Table 1.1, abortions by month and facility in 2020. And interestingly, the second biggest provider of abortions in Minnesota, Whole Women's Health, is reporting 0 abortions in February.
Very interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. It's suspicious. Again in February, and then again from April to September. It's like they just stopped.
Where are they making their money? Where's their revenue coming from? Do they have to close their doors? Abortions are big money makers.
Yeah, exactly. So, Whole Women's Health, they botched their abortion reporting.
Yep.
They admitted it because I called them. I went through several, probably I spent, I want to say about an hour on this. And that might seem like it could have taken longer, and absolutely it could have. But I used to work in sales, so I have a pretty good way of getting through phone menus.
Yeah, you're very assertive.
And I try to be assertive in what I need to be, and I really wanted to get this information. So I finally got the national publicity person for Whole Women's Health on the phone, and she told me she was not the most friendly person I've ever talked to. She was like, "You've been blowing up my phone." And I'm like, "Oh, hi, yeah." And their phone system was horrible. It was really circular. So I didn't mean to actually blow up her phone. But I spoke to her, and she confirmed that this was a quote-unquote reporting error. So this was not the state messing things up, the Minnesota Department of Health. This was Whole Women's Health. They owned it. They
admitted to botching abortion numbers.
They admitted to botching the abortion numbers, which is potentially finable. We can't speak to whether we don't know when they filed their corrected report. We don't know if they will be fined by the Minnesota Department of Health. But she told me the corrected numbers, and it was so chilling just to be on the end of that phone call. And she's like, I'm like, "Okay, you submitted the corrected numbers to the state, so that's going to be public information. Can you share that with me?" And she said, "Yeah, let me look that up." And then she said, "It's 1,254." And I said, "Okay, so 1,254 abortions performed in Minnesota." Yeah. And then the call ended pretty shortly afterward. And it's just honestly, I felt like, it just felt so chilling to be talking to this person who is involved in the abortion industrial complex. That's 1,254, not
human
a statistic,
lives
but human
that were
lives
taken from them prematurely. That they reported that 0 deaths had been committed, 0 abortions, to find out that 1,254 more children had lost their lives. And then she just said that nonchalantly, right, Moses? Nonchalantly.
Yes. Oh, absolutely nonchalantly. This is just a number to her. In fact, she probably wishes it was higher.
Probably. I mean, that's where abortionists make the most money. Abortions are pricey. And that's why Planned Parenthood is an abortion provider. Even though they offer other services, their target service is abortion because that's where they make their most revenue. But that's so sad. It's so sad. Just, viewing human life flippantly and not realizing the gravity of that statement. 1,254 innocent humans made in the image of God, lives ripped from them, and not even put in the report.
And we're so grateful to the pro-life activists who tipped us off that these numbers were wrong, because we had been looking at these numbers, and if you just look at the report, it looks like abortions have declined. But in fact, when you add in the new abortions from Whole Women's Health, the numbers have not declined. 2020 abortions went up. And we'll have more details for you probably next week on our Family Beacon blog.
Yes.
We're going to do an update on what those numbers actually look like with the corrected numbers in. That's a big deal that the numbers for the whole state were wrong. And we're going to put pressure on the Minnesota Department of Health. I've tried to reach them multiple times to issue a correction to their report. Usually they don't do it until the following year. But I think it's important that the people of Minnesota know, not next year, but now, that the numbers of abortions reported by one of the biggest abortion providers in Minnesota were wrong.
They were given untrue facts. They were given facts that they thought were true. They weren't true. We need to correct that. That's what we do at Minnesota Family Council. We're making sure people have the correct facts.
Yes.
So then they can go out and tell the truth.
Absolutely, because it matters.
It does matter.
It matters how many children's lives are lost to abortion.
And it matters because we can't just sit back and not do anything. If we think abortions are declining, that's something to celebrate. We still need to be working. But how much harder do we need to be working in the pro-life movement if abortion numbers aren't decreasing? Instead, they're actually increasing. That is significant. That is important. Pro-life activists and especially student activists need to be aware of that. Not to be discouraged, but to know the truth. This is what's happening. Pregnant women are feeling the need to go get abortions because they're not getting the support that they need. And the church's role in that too. The church needs to be aware of this, so that we can be that extra partner for women in need, who are hurting and are in hard circumstances and unplanned pregnancies. We need to know the facts so that we can be there for women and for children.
Absolutely. And speaking of hurting women, when I was trying to verify whether Whole Women's Health was doing abortions last year, I looked on Google reviews because holy mackerel. Like, if you want to find out, if you want to get someone to spill the tea for you about a business, go on Google reviews, because a lot of people look at Google reviews. It matters to the business owner. They'll often respond. And I'm just absolutely heartbroken by some of the reviews. Like, I just want to read this one. This is from 2 weeks ago, okay? This is not some artifact, okay? This poor woman, she says, I went for a medical procedure, 1-star review. I went for a medical procedure. I was told there are chances for a reversal after you take the abortion pill. Then when I called the nurse line after only the first pill, they said there was no reversal. Dear Lord, help me. Even the pamphlet they give said there may be a reversal. I hate the place. If undecided, just keep your baby. It's just like, what do you say to that?
There's no words, honestly. It's just
like that's what these people are in the business of doing.
Right.
They are in the business of either surgically or chemically taking the lives of children in the womb.
And this is not a place that's safe for women. It's not safe for children.
It's not safe.
In every single abortion, an innocent life is taken. However, women are also hurt by this, especially at Whole Women's Health. Just by this one review that Moses just read for us, it's evident they do not have the best interests of women at heart. Women should be able to have the choice to choose life even after they've had the first pill. There is hope. There is healing. There is potential for life to be restored after the first pill. And the fact that they denied her that they didn't give this hurting woman the compassion she deserves and needs it's devastating, and it's heart-wrenching, and it's eye-opening, and it's good that we're talking about this because it opens our eyes more to the realities of abortion and the realities in our state.
Yes.
At abortion providers in our state. This isn't in a different state. This is in our state. This is in Minnesota. This is why we need to stand up.
We need to stand up.
Right.
And we need to deal with our problems that we have as a state. And the biggest problem that we have as a state is that we place no value on the lives of unborn children. That is the biggest problem.
Oh, 1,254 lives. 1,254 lives, yeah, that we didn't report.
Yeah, like this banal statement.
Right.
So not only this poor woman, and I wanted to say, not only did Whole Women's Health kill her baby, but they lied to her, because you can reverse the abortion pill.
Right.
It's very, you need to do this immediately. And here's a number that you should probably write down. You should probably put this on your fridge.
Yep.
Because if a friend or family member comes to you and they tell you that they had a chemical abortion, maybe I think it's a 2-pill sequence oftentimes. So if they've taken the first pill, and God forbid that should take place, but there is still a chance to save your baby. So you need to write this number down. This is the National Abortion Pill Reversal Hotline, 877-558-0333, or go to abortionpillreversal.com. You've probably seen the billboards for this, but this is a real thing.
It's an option. If you've undergone an abortion, you've had the first pill, and you are second guessing yourself, know that you're not too far. You're not too far from turning it around. There is hope. You can make a difference. You can make that change. You're not alone, and there are resources to help you. The abortion industry would like nothing better than to send you on your merry way and have you think that is the final decision, that's the final call, that there's no recovering from that. Well, the truth is, life is precious, and if you're doubting it, there is hope. There's always hope.
There's always hope. And if you Google this, by the way, you're going to see propaganda.
Right.
You're going to see abortion clinics and people allied with them saying, oh, the abortion pill reversal thing, oh, that doesn't work. And you know what? There are kids running around that prove that it does. This is not some type of right-wing propaganda, because, like, no one can make this up.
There's evidence.
You can prove that these women took the abortion pill, and you can prove that they went on to have a live birth and a healthy baby. It works.
And we need to ask ourselves, why are these abortion radicals so against the preserving of life? If that's a woman's choice, they're all about
right. I thought it was about choice for them.
Right. I know, it's ridiculous to me that they're like, we are the ones that will stand with women no matter what choice they make. And it's like, no, the pro-life movement is the movement that will stand with women no matter what choice they make. While I don't support women choosing abortion because it kills an innocent human being, I think the church needs to rise up and be that compassionate care and support for women who have undergone abortions, that are hurting from their consequences and hurting from losing their child and having their child ripped from them. We need to still be there for women. We need to support them and give them the compassionate care they need after going through an abortion, as well as if they decide to have their child and to, one, give it up for adoption or raise the child themselves. We need to be that financial aid or that resource for them.
So the abortion pill reversal works, and I think this is so crucial for Christians to know, because you may know someone who is considering an abortion. Grace, what should you do when you know someone who's considering an abortion?
When you know someone who's considering an abortion, the most important thing that you can do is show a woman the love and compassion she deserves and needs in that situation. If a woman feels like she's not getting support and she's not getting compassion, then she's going to run to the people that are trying to give her options. So if Christian communities have this stigma around unplanned pregnancies, and if they say that we're not going to support you if you're in an unplanned pregnancy out of wedlock, then where is that going to leave women? It's going to leave women running to abortion care providers like Whole Women's Health, who are botching their abortion reports and are not giving women the help they deserve, and they're not giving them the full options. So the church's place in this really is astronomical, and our place is to be there for women, to listen to them, to show them that there is another way, that where there's life, there's always hope, that choosing life is not always easy, but it is always right. And there are options. There is adoption, and there are so many families that are looking to adopt children right now that will love your baby, and just giving women the resources they need. Women deserve the resources, and they deserve compassion and truth. And Whole Women's Health and abortion care providers do not give them that. They will not stand with women if they choose life for their baby. The pro-life movement will.
They won't. I think this review shows you. This woman was told there's no chance of reversing that abortion pill. There is a chance of reversing that abortion pill. They lied to her. And there it is right on the internet for anyone to see. And I love the phrase, I think you might have told me this, but it's students for life, their phrase, like love them both. Yeah,
love them both. I think that maybe Save the Storks. Save the Storks coined that.
So what do you think? What does that mean to you?
It means loving, number one, recognizing that children are uniquely made in the image of God, that every child is a blessing no matter of circumstance, no matter of horrific circumstance. But secondly, women are made in the image of God, and women deserve the resources that they need to go and have successful pregnancies. And that's really what the pro-life movement is doing. Robbinsdale Women's Center is a great resource here in Minnesota that everyone should check out. And just go to robbinsdalewomenscenter.org. I think that's what it is. I'll check that right now.
Live fact checking. This is the Family Beacon. We do not give you news.
MyChoiceTwinCities.com.
MyChoiceTwinCities.com. There you go. Thank you, Grace.
You can call 763-531-9554.
That's the great number to call if you or someone you know needs help with a pregnancy. It's I've talked to the people who run that. They are amazing. They are people who have a heart for Jesus, and they have a heart for women, because if we make abortion unthinkable,
right,
that's the goal. We don't just make abortion illegal. That's job one. But we have to make abortion unthinkable.
Right.
We have to make
culture of life.
We have to create a culture of life so that women are supported in the choice they make. There's a fancy word for this. We'll probably talk more about this in a future episode. Pro-natalism. Just the idea that our culture should be a place that is, at every stage, friendly to children. Life is cherished. Friendly to children, friendly to men and women who are seeking to start a family. That's so important.
It is so important.
So let's speaking of people starting a family, let's talk about the Sussexes.
Oh, yes.
Harry and Meghan. This is a little bit bizarre.
Yeah.
What happened to them this week?
Yeah. So Prince Harry and Meghan Markle recently received an environmental award for putting a cap on how many children they're going to have. So currently, the ex-royals have 2 children. They have a about 2-year-old baby boy, and they just had a baby girl. And
good for them. Life is a blessing.
Good for them. Life is a blessing. That's great. And something really sad too is Meghan Markle actually had a miscarriage and was very vocal about it.
Oh,
yeah,
so
I was
sad.
looking into that. That's really sad. And so yeah, really, really thankful that they were able to have this baby girl. Very exciting. But this is the news. So Prince Harry and Meghan Markle vowed to only have 2 children in the name of saving the environment. So
oh boy.
So they received an environmental award from a United Kingdom-based charity, and it's called Population Matters.
Oh no.
Yeah, and right now I'm
just getting like a eugenics vibe from that. Are you?
A little bit. I mean, maybe not eugenics specifically, but
just like limiting the type of children that people are having and the number of children.
This is where I'm at. I mean, I don't care. I mean, you can have 2 kids if you want to have 2 kids. Have 2 kids. Have 3 kids. Have 4 kids. Like, I respect people's.
Have 6 kids.
Yeah, have 6 kids, as long as, of course, you're not using abortion to attain that end. But what I really think is ridiculous about the story is the fact that they got an award for that. This is seen as Population Matters said that this was an enlightened decision, that they were role models for the decision.
Wow.
This is this is the Federalist reporting, by the way, on this. And yeah, just a lot of thoughts on this. But first and foremost, I want to read a quote from their website, from populationmatters.com.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Let me pull that up.
What the heck, people? Like, can I just say, I don't know that they're going to stop at 2. They said they're going to stop at 2. But Prince William and Kate, they have 3 now, I think, right?
Yeah, they have 3, which, yeah, I wonder if that's almost a rub in the face because of them being ex-royals and all. I don't know. That's just speculation. I'm not really into all the royals drama, honestly, guys. So. Oh,
I am. A
nerd if you ever saw one. Okay, so I'm on populationmatters.org, populationmatters.org, and first of all,
I'm just
on their
wincing.
Home screen, Moses, there's literally this current world population counter. It's ticking. It's ticking up. Can you see this on my screen right now? It's ticking up.
Okay, it's a bad thing that there are more humans. That's their thing. It's a bad thing that there are more humans.
the earth cannot provide for us all, and the natural world is paying the price. That's what they say. Here, I'm reading this from...
Hold up. I'm sorry. Wait. The natural world can provide for us all. The population of, as of this moment, 7,887,223,887, they are being fed.
92, 95.
Okay, it's going up every moment. Praise the Lord. And you know what? There's occasionally this famine, there's drought. It's pretty dry here in Minnesota right now. There's famine, there's drought in some places, but the era when there was mass starvation is thankfully at an end, and that's because of the amazing food system that we have. And this is true even in poor countries, because there's this amazing thing called food aid, where if there is a famine or a drought in a poor country, countries will band together and they will distribute food aid so that people, Lord willing, are not dying of famine, at least certainly not in large numbers. So the idea that the earth can't support this amount of people when, 100 years ago the population was what, 3 billion less? And the population has grown hugely in this time, and a lot of people are basically getting enough to eat. Okay? I don't want to overstate that because there's still problems. But the earth can support us. The earth was made by God to support life.
Exactly.
Sorry. Okay.
That.
I'm sorry for getting on my soapbox there. What are they telling us on their website? I can't wait.
Good stuff there. So the facts.
Okay. Yeah.
Our population has become so large that the earth cannot cope.
Here we go.
So there's that. We are currently using up the renewable resources of 1.7 Earths. Unless things change, we'll need 3 by 2050. Now, to me, this really is fear-mongering. And something as Christians that we know the Bible talks about is that we're not called to live in fear and anxiety. The Lord doesn't want us to be a fearful people. He wants us to find our strength in the Lord and to trust in Him. Psalms is full of that admonition of trusting in the Lord and your anxiety. And so if you are feeling anxious about the planet or anxious in general, I really do recommend Psalms to you. But God does not call us to fear. Joshua 1:9 is clear on this. God has commanded us to be strong and courageous, and God is with us wherever we go. I'm seeing our producer have a suggestion.
Just something about the website, but please go on.
Okay. Yeah, the Lord commands us to not live in fear. In addition, though, we as Christians, we know that the earth is the Lord's, that Psalm 24:1 says the earth is the Lord's in all its fullness, the world and those who dwell therein. Love that psalm. Also from Genesis 1, it's clear that we are stewards. We are stewards of the earth, that the Lord has given us the earth to steward rightly. And we can have those conversations. Moses and I are not climate experts. We're not here to give all of the details and all the rundown on the theories surrounding climate change and the world ending in a few years, etc. But we are here to explain
this is what we do know.
Commands.
We know that you should trust in God.
Trust in God.
And trust in God's promises. What was that psalm?
Psalm 24:1.
The world is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, and all who dwell therein.
Yes.
Like, He founded it upon the seas. He established it upon the floods. I know this because I know this really rousing psalm tune for it. I'll just give you the first line. No, it's Dr. David Erb. Shout out to New St. Andrews College, Faculty of Music.
Alma mater here.
and my music professor wrote this. It's the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, the world and they that dwell therein. I'll end it there because this isn't a music podcast, despite my just world shaking. Despite my world shaking talents. Maybe we'll have to, if you want us to start a spin-off music podcast where we
I will not be a part of that.
Where we do covers, where I do covers of various popular songs. Let us know in the comments.
Let's get back to the point here. What we do know, the earth is the Lord's. We are called to steward it rightly. God does not call us to live in fear. In addition, humans are not a burden. They are a blessing. Psalms also, Psalm 127 talks about children being arrows. And I'll read it for you. Behold, children are a heritage from the Lord. The fruit of the womb is a reward. Like arrows in the hand of a warrior are the children of one's youth. Blessed is the man who fills his quiver with them. So really, this is what I want to...
I have a great tune for that too, but I will save it for another day.
Really, this is what I want to talk about with this story here. Children are a reward, and if you believe that the earth is getting a lot worse, and I guess that depends on your eschatology too, but eschatology being the study of end times, wouldn't you want to have more kids to try to make it better? Wouldn't you want to have more kids so that you can teach them the right way to think about things so that they can grow up and then go engage with culture and influence culture in the sphere that they go into?
Yeah, I would.
That's I mean, Moses right here is a dad. Moses, tell us a little bit about that.
Well,
what's your philosophy behind raising kids?
To be totally honest, having a kid absolutely changed my worldview in ways that I didn't expect. Having children is making an investment in the future that you cannot cash in. I have put down money, essentially, and I don't get that money back. What I've invested in is the future of the world, because I must have decided, my wife and I must have decided at some point that this is a world worth living, and this is a life worth having. Life is a blessing
that God has given us and blessed us with.
Yeah, and there's such a like the idea that there's these rigid upper middle class, probably mostly white atheists and drinking flipping venti lattes in San Francisco and the large childless cities of this nation, and they are their hands are literally like shaking as they bring their hold up. Their hands are I'm in midstream, Grace. Their hands are shaking as they bring their lattes to their mouth, not from caffeine but from fear, because they're thinking, oh no, if we had children, the world would not be able to support them. Not my children. I make $150,000 a year, but the children in the world. Like the idea that you shouldn't have children because someone else's children might experience hunger sometime in their life. Not your children, because you are, I guarantee it, the people who are having this debate are wealthy enough to support their own children, okay? Okay, rant almost done. But my point is, Christians need to have tons of babies to overcome the people who are not having babies, because our birth rate is already below the replacement rate, okay? That we need to have 2.1 children per woman for our society to not absolutely fall into the ocean because we have had too few kids, okay? This is just simple demographic science.
We could talk about even China's one-child policy.
Yeah, that
would be a tangent, but be aware of that.
Yeah, we'll talk about this is something I'm super passionate about, and I've become more passionate about it since having children. Our producer he touched his watch. He's making a look like maybe he needs to go to the bathroom. So maybe we need to bring this in for the landing, Grace.
And I think one other thing I want to say really quick. Is ultimately, I'm very happy that Meghan and Harry were able to have their second child. They're able to have their two kids. And but on the other hand, really what I do see this is as them getting an award for limiting their family size and saying they're not going to have more kids. I see it as an act of virtue signaling, and here's why. The ex-royals have used a private jet to go on holiday in southern France. That's been reported on. They use private jets more often than that, I'm sure. If they really, really cared about the environment and saving the planet, they would be sure to not fly private, at least, because private jets usually carry less passengers than commercial planes, meaning they're burning more fuel. So
the carbon footprint, okay, like their carbon footprint is Sasquatch sized. Okay, it is they are some of the world's biggest polluters. Rich people in general. I mean, like I'm not an expert on this, but yeah, if you have a private jet, and I want to like. I'd like someone to do a comparison. I'm not an expert. We're not experts on science here, but like if they gave up their private jet, I wonder if they could have another kid, just in terms of the carbon footprint of that child versus the carbon footprint of their jet.
Or if they gave up their 18,671 square foot mansion.
18,000 square feet?
18.
Okay, that is roughly 14 times larger than my house. And
with amenities that include a library, gym, separate wet and dry saunas, this is the Federalist reporting, a game room, a home theater, and an arcade.
See, I have all of those things. I just do them in the same rooms as other things. My library is the same room as my arcade, which is the same room as my dining room.
16 bathroom mega mansion.
Oh, that is
Have
we said the H word yet? Have we said the H word yet? Hypocrisy.
hypocrisy, and just if you're gonna care about a cause, like hashtag save the turtles, use those metal straws, et cetera, at least be consistent about it, and be consistent, and don't just do it in your public life. Do it also in your private life. That's really the end of the story here. But as Christians, we know we can't live in fear. God does not command us to live in fear. That's no way to live. If you live your life in anxiety, you're going to waste your time away here on this earth.
Yes, live in confidence and joy.
Yep, confidence
and joy. The Lord knows the plans He has for you.
Plans to prosper, not to harm you.
Yeah. Now people are always going to say, "Oh, that's Jeremiah 29:11. That doesn't apply to. That's about Israel. It doesn't apply to humans." And I'm like,
this could just be a theology podcast at this point.
Yeah. Well, that's fine. We need more theology podcasts. Jeremiah 29:11 is about Israel. Mm-hmm. Guess who is the new Israel? The Church of Christ Jesus. Mm-hmm. The promises that God makes to Israel can, in many cases, be transferred to the church. This is simple covenantal theology. So we can say about the church, maybe not about each particular individual, that God has plans to prosper the church. And that is, we see that throughout Christian history. Mm-hmm. Great reason not to fear. Great reason to have confidence, joy, and hope. This is the Family Beacon. I'm Moses Brattrud with Grace Evans. We're so grateful that you could join us. What a crazy week it's been.
Yeah.
More podcast platforms are coming. More episodes are coming in your inbox every Friday. Go to mfc.org/subscribe. Thank you so much for tuning in.
See you next time, guys. Thanks for listening to or watching this episode of the Family Beacon podcast from Minnesota Family Council. Subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts so you're up to date on life, family, and religious freedom. You can follow us on Instagram at MN Family Council and subscribe to us on YouTube to watch our content. Get the facts, stand for truth.